Pleased to welcome to our Sundance interviews now, Kalyani Mam. She is the director of a movie called A River Changes Course. It's a Cambodian production, Cambodian with English subtitles. And I'm just looking here at this little synopsis, and it says that you are a lawyer turned filmmaker who escaped from Cambodia. You don't look nearly old enough to have done all of that. Yeah. What was I had a friend who went to university in Cambodia, I think in Phnom Penh,
yes,
to study dance.
Okay.
And
dates. Dates, palm dates.
Dance.
Oh, dance. Yes.
The art of Cambodian
dance.
Dance.
Yeah, classical.
Yeah. And I don't think he ever came back. I think he loved that country so much.
Yeah, it's a beautiful country.
Yeah. What was it like for you growing up there, and what happened that made you leave?
Yeah. Well, I was actually born in Cambodia during the Khmer Rouge regime, and we left because we wanted to flee this communist socialist regime, which fell from power in 1979. But the country was in such chaos, we had to leave. And our flight from Cambodia, the stories I would tell you would probably bring tears to your eyes. But we had to dodge landmines, walk through jungles, sleep on the jungle floor, until we reached, the border of Cambodia and Thailand. And we lived in the refugee camps for about a year and a half before.
When you say we, is it your
my family and I?
Your whole family?
My whole family. So my parents and 5 children at that time. Eventually, we have now 7 children in the family, a very big family. But we eventually immigrated to the United States in 1981.
Where did you end up?
We ended up in Houston, Texas first, where we lived for about a year and a half. And then we went to California after that.
Tell us about A River Changes Course. What you were trying to accomplish with the movie.
So with the film, I've always had a very close connection to Cambodia, of course. The first time I went back to Cambodia was in 1998, during the summer of my junior year of college,
to work
on my senior thesis.
That had been over 10 years.
Yeah, so 17 years.
17 years.
Since I had been back to my home country. And, like your friend, I completely fell in love with the country. It's so beautiful. The people are amazing and hospitable. I always thought that my family was special, that we were all really special and nice people.
Yeah.
But when I went to Cambodia, I realized that there's a history to that niceness. Everybody in Cambodia is so nice and so kind and so gentle and loving. And that's what welcomed me to the country. And the country itself is astoundingly beautiful. The rich nature, the forests, the countryside, the palm trees, the beaches. It's a beautiful country. So the first time I went, I completely fell in love. But this country that I fell in love with in 1998 changed significantly over time. And by the time I went back there in 2008, it had changed. I can't even describe how much it changed. It was so astounding to me. There were huge buildings being built, roads being built, thousands of hectares of trees being cut down, and the lake and the rivers being overfished almost to extinction.
That's called progress, Kalyani.
Yeah, I would
what
say.
That is.
Yeah. To some of us, it is progress. And actually, to the Cambodian people and to the 3 subjects in my film, it is progress. Yeah. But the progress is also questionable. With every progress, with any change that happens, there's always consequence. There's always impact. And what I wanted to do was I wanted to document that impact. And I wanted to find out for myself, what impact was taking place, whether it was positive or negative. I didn't want to paint any particular picture. I wanted the stories to really unfold for themselves.
Who did you select? The 3, you say you select 3 people.
Yes.
Who did you select and how did you find them?
Yeah, so I had 3 subjects in my film. The first subject is Sadim Mat, and he's a young boy that I had met in 2008. And at that time, he was only 14 years old. By the time I finished the film, he was 17 years old. And when I met him in 2008, he was this, young, bright-eyed, hopeful young boy, like any 14-year-old in any country. He was like looking forward and hopeful for his future. He told me he wanted to study, have an education. He wanted to go out in the world and explore the world. By the time I ended up filming him, finished filming him and when he was 17 in 2012, he had changed completely. He had become a disillusioned old man, and he no longer had his dreams.
That's progress, Kalyani.
Yeah, exactly.
That's progress.
That's progress, and that's because there's no more fish in the water.
Yeah.
And by the time I ended up filming him in 2012, he ended up working on a cassava plantation for a Chinese company. No. And before he was a fisherman.
Is that where all the money is coming into Cambodia? Is it all Chinese?
It's not all Chinese. A lot of the money is coming from China, Malaysia, Korea, South Korea. A lot of the money is internal too. There's a lot of rich people in Cambodia, but they're the 1%. Yeah.
Is the country more stable than it was? It was always curious to me that the Khmer Rouge could come out of this wonderful place with very nice, peaceful people.
Yeah, it's a puzzle. It's really a puzzle.
How that ever happened?
Yeah.
Is the country more stable now than it was then?
The country is definitely more stable. As far as opportunities and economic opportunities, the ability for one to move freely and buy things, commercially and be part of the capitalist system, it's free in that way. But politically, I would say that it's not to the extent of the Khmer Rouge, but atrocities are happening. People are being thrown off their land, being evicted. The family that I followed in the jungles, they're an indigenous family, one of 17 to 24 indigenous families that live in Cambodia, and they are going to be thrown off their land very soon, in the next 2 or 3 years. All around them, the forests that have been cut down have become rubber plantations, cassava plantations, sugar plantations for, agricultural industries, and all the lumber is being shipped abroad. But it's not helping the people who are living there. The people who are living there who depend on the wood and the forests for their livelihood no longer can sustain themselves.
Is there anything that can stem the tide?
I think consciousness, and I think what I would love to do with this film is, reach out to all of the villagers in the country, and of course globally as well. But I want people to realize and recognize what is happening throughout the country. The media, not like in the United States, the media is really, it doesn't reach across. It's not far-reaching in Cambodia, and so very few people, especially the villagers, are able to understand and comprehend, what is happening holistically in the country. I actually had a special screening of the film in Cambodia. We had 600 people present. 200 were parents of garment factory workers. And we had, villagers come in, and this is the first time they had ever seen a film like this. A film in their own native language, no English, just English subtitles, but in their native language, speaking about an issue that is affecting them directly right now. And they were so surprised and shocked. And when I asked them, how many of you have ever been to these places? How many of you have ever been to the jungles or the lake, or the factories? No one raised their hand. They don't have the ability to travel. They don't have the knowledge to understand.
You stay within a few square miles of where you're born.
And information and knowledge is the key and the power to change.
It's called A River Changes Course. Kalyani Mam is the director. It's here at the Sundance Film Festival in the World Documentary category.
If you'd like to see trailers for it, you can just go to ariverchangescourse.com, and there are screenings as well.
Thanks so much for taking some time with us, and I hope it has the desired effect.
Yeah, thank you very much, and I hope that everyone can see also that the film has a very universal impact
Yeah.
too. I mean, I think all of us can connect to what is happening, with progress.
That's progress, Kalyani.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.